Yeah, I mean, I that's why when I bought the new one that she's got, the M14 is a lot smaller, a little bit more manageable. That 17 was great for everything else, but man, it overheated constantly, and it was nuts. So
you might want to swap the microphone on the other side of like where that foam pad is.
Okay.
Just because you're like talking past it.
Okay. So,
like if you're gonna be looking
this way.
You got a matching mouse too.
Yeah, it's this Arc. So it's kind of cool.
It's a nice mouse.
It works real good. I actually like the click wheel because it's like.
I love the Arc mouse when I had my Lumia.
Always sounds like a little frog.
950.
That little frog.
In fact, tonight I bought the adapter so I could use my Xbox controller. I haven't done that yet.
So the new controllers are Bluetooth.
Really?
So you can just Bluetooth right to your...
I tried it, yeah, so I bought the adapter. It was like $25 at the store. So I'm going to try it out tonight. I don't know exactly what I'm going to try to see about doing that tonight.
How old is your controller?
Xbox One, I think I bought it. I think it's like a year and a half. I think it's one of
it doesn't have the Bluetooth stack in it.
I tried to do it already and it wouldn't work.
Yeah, so that's the new, like literally this year that they just...
Actually, I'm still going to consider getting the custom made. I'm thinking about it.
Those have Bluetooth stack in it too, so you could just Bluetooth right to it.
Yeah, I
wish they'd make a silver one to match.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
I'm big on like everything matching.
I want to get a blue
Mr.
a Bears color one, so it's going to be
yeah.
like orange and then the dark blue in the box. That's what I'm going to get.
Shoot, I could make that color at work.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Something we'll just paint it. We'll figure it out.
Okay. So you might want to slide that a little bit closer to you also. Then you should be good to go. I was trying to get the levels to line up, so
how about
Brad, go ahead and say a few things.
Say a few things into the mic.
Mr. Funny Cat.
No, I may be a little...
Turn that down a little bit toward you. It should just be there. Something like that. That should be good.
This is on silent.
That ought to be good. I know I've got my kind of turned up a little bit high. But
yeah, I might
think
be
I'm
a little quiet due to congestion.
Phlegm.
Yeah.
I'm all verklempt.
So I will turn you up a little bit.
Gain him up a bit?
Yeah. And Sam, go ahead and say...
I think you should be fine with my volume. I never think that's... Even at my sickest, I think the volume is never an issue. Just have to get rid of the so's and the hums.
So's,
Yeah.
No, that's me.
Are you trying to eat the mic?
I'm eating the ham sandwich over here.
Little dry mouth over there. Ham sandwich, no mayo.
Well, now it's going to be sniffles and smacks.
So you can do that if you had a honey baked ham sandwich. You ever had a honey baked ham?
Yeah.
It's almost illegal. It shouldn't be fair. That stuff is so good. It's stupid. I almost feel like breaking the law when I eat one of those. It's so good.
Yep.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
And my wife will shred it and put like cheese in it, call their ham and cheesies, and she like puts them on an open face, and you just bake them in the oven. And
That does sound good.
They are good.
Sounds
I
good.
have to admit, I'm looking forward to the ham and cheesies.
Ham and cheesies.
I'll say it just as that because that's what she calls it. So I'm gonna say it just like that. I don't care. No judgments. There's no judgments.
No judgments.
Is that how it is?
No judgments. Don't judge. Don't judge me. All right, so I believe I'm pretty much ready to get started when everybody else is. If you've got links and stuff open, Sam, looks like you've got some links open.
Yeah.
Should be good to go. Man, it's hard to believe. Last episode of 2016.
Thank God.
Starting next week, I've got to change all the copyright stuff to 2017. Yippee-ki, yay. I just think we're that much closer to the New Games of the Past podcast. Sometime we'll get a chance to talk about that. Hopefully tomorrow.
Tomorrow, probably, because I have nothing going on.
Except editing. And I've got an episode I got to record in the morning of everything VR and AR that goes out next week. So that is in the morning.
What the heck? I'm going to type into Google, and how tall is a Titanfall mech? Was what I was going to type. The first thing that pops up: how tall is Donald Trump? Apparently, he's 6'3".
Whoopee!
Yeah. In case you knew and you didn't know, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, in case you didn't know and you wanted to know, now you know.
Yeah.
And if you didn't want to know, well, Google's going to tell you anyway.
Yes, it is.
Between 20 and 25 feet tall, so about double the size of what we're looking at here.
I was still up at 3 o'clock playing that last night.
I figured.
Yeah. I did get the 317, though. I leveled up to 17
I got to
last
20.
night. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's good. You're getting there. You're just, let's see, almost 100. So it's 50.
Wait, what's the cutoff? 50 or 60?
50.
Okay.
Those 49 and 50 is when you can regenerate.
So like almost exactly 100 off, right?
Yeah, close to it, like 97 or something like that.
That's not bad.
Yeah, whatever it is. I don't really know for sure. You'll get there.
Well, I tried playing some new games last night, and I just wasn't feeling it. One's like Dark Souls, but 2D style, but then with like a heavy metal rift track to it. That Slain Back from Hell that I was playing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that game got hard quick. And I was like, nope, I think I'm good.
I'm not feeling this much of a challenge.
And then Spelunky, it's a fun game, but I'm just not feeling the vibe on that one either, so I'm just going to move on. It was free anyway.
Yeah. Games with gold, folks. Games with gold. It's such a great free platform and nice benefit.
Yep.
I do love that.
Be interested to see how next year rolls around with that.
What they give away?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Do we already know what will be out for January's Games with Gold? I would imagine we do. I mean, it's just in 2-3 days. So.
Oh well, yeah. Then they definitely put it out already. I thought they put it out last week even.
Yeah, they probably did. I just forgot. I guess it was nothing that really stood out that I would be interested in. I don't know.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with episode 158 of the Tech Informist podcast. So, on past episodes, which, hi everybody, Kevin Harvell, last episode of 2016, joined by Brad Whiteside, and Sam Ventimiglia makes another appearance live in studio.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
Living the dream. What can I tell you?
With that fancy Surface Book.
Yeah, Mr. Surface Book over here.
I didn't forget it this time.
Yeah,
you know, last episode I complained about silver, but I don't think I'd complain too much about having a Surface Book in my possession.
No, it's a
so far. I've been
beautiful silver device.
Very, very happy with this purchase. Definitely.
I would hope so. Now, which version did you get?
This is the i5.
So that's the i5.
The i5.
No extra graphics, just the...
It comes with the 9. I think it's a 960. It's the same GPU.
Oh, it does come with the 960.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the dedicated graph. That was the reason why I got the i5 because it was the same GPU either way. I was like, well, why would I need the i7? And especially when I looked at the cost jump, it was like almost $400. I was like, whoa, I need to get it a little bit more down to an affordable. At $2,100, I was already kind of like, yeah,
right.
I'm already pushing it there. I'm just going to go ahead and cut my losses and kind of just go with that.
So 8 gig of RAM?
8 gig RAM, 256.
Okay.
Not bad. So it works for me. I mean, I don't really play anything crazy anymore.
Yeah, you're not over there doing a whole lot of video editing and computer-aided drafting.
But it is a sweet piece of kit, I have to admit. I will keep this in my possession for many
quite
years.
some time.
Oh, yeah. This is the only laptop I'm going to have for another 5 to 7 years, probably.
Well, I'm still shopping around, as it were, so I'm still kind of...
You'll get something eventually.
Yeah, probably in the next couple of years or so.
I don't even think it'll be that long. I think you'll surprise us. By the end of 2017, you're going to have something really nice.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how ventures go in 2017.
Yeah. Yes, we definitely will. So on past episodes of the Tech Informist, we have discussed Brad and his hunt for a certain game from his childhood. He couldn't
figure it out, couldn't find it. I always thought it, for some reason, I mean, probably because it's the most popular, I always thought it was
on the Atari
on the Atari, which makes sense. You know, it's from that era. You would think, oh, game from Atari, most definitely.
Right. So he thought it was a game from Atari with a kangaroo.
Everyone thought I was crazy, which is fine.
Yeah. So we actually found it on the day that we were actually editing this episode, which was the day after we recorded it. And it is called Hopper, and it's on the Texas Instruments home computer, so like the TI-99.
Yeah, so we're talking like early 80s computer.
Yes,
like,
very early.
Pop in the cartridge to get the program to go kind of thing.
Or press play on tape like the old Commodore 64.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I had one.
Type in a code.
128 too.
Hopper came out in 1983, and I was born in 88, so my grandfather had acquired a Texas Instrument at some point, and it was the very first game I played as a real human child.
Yeah. So you were born in 88, so you didn't get to play it until the game was probably almost 10 years old.
I would venture to say I was somewhere in the 2 to 3 year old range.
Yeah.
I was pretty young. So
you're 7, 8 maybe, roughly.
No, I was probably like 2 or 3.
No, I was talking about the game. The game was probably
being 7 or 8 years old. Right. Yeah.
I probably misspoke here.
Well, I am a little sick, as you could probably hear throughout the episode. I can't think straight, so
you'll be all right.
I'm sorry.
You'll survive.
So, kind of while we're on the topic, so Brad has found it. If he wants to buy a Texas Instruments home computer on eBay, it's about $35-$40. Games about $10 roughly, and you could relive all those wonderful childhood memories for about 15-20 minutes, and you'd be like, all right, I'm done. Cool.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not so sure how much the wifey would like that.
She would
with a giant freaking honking thing.
And
why do we need this? Because of nostalgia, babe.
That's right. It's all about nostalgia. I can't just load it up on my phone at the moment.
Although, if I can get a ROM of that, that's plenty good for me.
A ROM and an emulator. So, yeah, I did some basic entry scratch the surface level searches for it, and I didn't really find too much yet. But like I said, I didn't really dig.
Well, and it turns out that Hopper game was actually a clone from a Sega game. It was like a penguin instead of a kangaroo. So
only penguins jump, do they? I guess they kind of do, but not like penguins don't hop as high as a kangaroo would hop.
Well, it's funny. It's called Hopper, but there's no like hopping involved.
Yeah, it's just like running around pushing boxes, I think.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Great. That sounds good.
Yeah. So, Sam, do you remember your first video game you ever played?
Yes. Burger Time.
Oh, of course.
For Intellivision. That's what I had. I had an Intellivision, had the little overlay, and it was Burger Time. A game where your chef got chased around by an egg and other comments. And then
apparently the egg came first in this situation.
And the defense was pepper. He threw a little pepper, and then you had to run across the bun and the burger and knock it. Yeah, it was terrible.
Right. So the different pieces of the sandwich would fall down and smash things.
That was my first game, and I was like 5. That was 1980 when I got my first. And then a couple of years later was my first Atari, the old wood grain.
Oh, yeah.
Radio Shack. Wood grain. I had the first game on that I actually played, ironically, was E.T. That was the first game I had. And I actually kind of liked it. I guess that shows you how insane I am. I actually thought it was kind of cool.
And of course, the proud.
Yeah, of course, the combat, those kind of things. Adventure. Those kind of games. So then in 86 was the whole Nintendo, and that's when they kind of all took off with the Rob and Gyromite and Hogan's Alley and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I don't think my first video game was really what I would consider a console game. It was that old electronic Mattel handheld football game.
Oh, I got
Tecmo Bowl?
No, it was like the little red dot clicker.
Red LEDs.
Click.
Yeah, you could just go up, down, or to the right.
Do you know I have one of those? Not the original.
Did they just re-release those?
They did. And it works pretty close. It's not as good as the old one because it does. But the buttons click just like it and has the whole.
I've still got an original one somewhere in our house.
Yeah, that was cool.
But it's fun. It's a fun little game. Yeah. Fun little game. And no, I was visiting my uncle in Colorado, and that's what he let me use to help keep me occupied, because it's not like I had a whole bunch of brothers and sisters. My cousin was there, but he was kind of in trouble. He was always in trouble when I came to visit, so yeah, go figure. But anyway, that's kind of my entry level into all that games. Makes me just want to go home and play some more.
Well, probably will tonight, so
possibly. I'd have to see, but I got that early podcast to record in the morning, so I don't know I'll do that. But we'll see. Never say never. I might just not be as sharp for tomorrow morning. We'll see. So on this week's episode, we kind of want to share some of our tech predictions and some of the things that we would like to see come to fruition in the year 2017, because 2016, I think, kind of looking back, was not really, I mean, nothing like really stands out and goes, oh, wow, that was so awesome.
Yeah.
To me.
I mean, it's same, actually. Like, yeah, I just sit here and think about the phones, and the phones were good. It's just nothing was steps and steps above its previous models.
I think the only thing is the removal of the 3.5 header view. That was really the only which isn't really it's not really.
It's not in the good category either.
It's not even like groundbreaking. It's just that was the only thing that was really like, okay. Yeah, but other than that, as far as like processing speed or phones, there's no phone that was really like.
It was some minor increment.
Yeah.
I think seeing the internal storage starting levels were getting bumped to 32 or 64.
Only kind of the 4 or 5 years of like people complaining about it. It's like, I mean, really.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was about the only thing I think wasn't the major issue.
Well, we were talking about something at dinner just a little while ago. What was it that we were kind of sort of predicting for the future? I can't even remember what it was.
It was a long, long time ago.
all 15, 20 minutes ago.
Almost a half an hour. It's crazy. We're not exactly spring chickens over here. We got to start writing stuff down.
Yeah, apparently.
We're getting old. We got to start using these.
Hey, Cortana, remind me.
Yeah, remind me what I was talking about at dinner. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
No, but some of the things that I'm kind of curious about, and this is one of the things that Robert Scoble has been talking about a lot on Facebook lately, is he's apparently got some good inside information about what Apple might be up to when it comes to AR, so augmented reality. And it's really going to be interesting to see what it is that they do come up with, because, when Apple does something, they typically do it very well, and it's very aesthetically pleasing and looks good, and hopefully going to have a lot of functionality. And they seem to make things come to the masses, other than... I wouldn't say the Apple Watch has really got everybody turned on to smartwatches.
Yeah, but I would say it's like one of the better selling ones.
Yeah, I think overall, the Gear has done well. The Pebble did really good for what it was, and we'll see. But that's kind of like one of the things that I'm looking for.
VR. I would say VR is going to start to hit a little bit of a stride. I don't think we'll get a killer app this year, but I think it'll start to really get into more hands, especially with the $299 price mark for a lot of the Microsoft stuff that they're wanting to sell. It's hard to say whether or not we'll see like price drops in anything in the first gen of
You're talking
hardware.
About like the Oculus and HTC.
Oculus, HTC specifically. PlayStation VR, maybe by Christmas time they might drop it like $50.
I hope they just have a second version, the V2. With like newer hardware for the controls and stuff like that.
Because that's expensive, especially for Sony right now. Like, they're not doing super hot. The only thing that's keeping them afloat, is the PlayStation right now. Like, for, in big, retrospect or whatever. But
I actually was at the Galleria today, and they actually downstairs had a Facebook.
Yeah.
They were down there had little screens and demos.
They put that in, I want to say, right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and it was it kind of caught my eye. I didn't obviously go check it out or anything. I had other plans, but and I think that's what's really going to once the regular Joe kind of knows of it, because I talk about HoloLens and the experience we had at the Microsoft store, just how completely just blown away I was by it. And I was trying to explain to this lady at work about sitting here, like in my workspace at work, I could sit here and have a headset on and have an integrated phone call to it, just some kind of telephony integration, and then actually just have my 4 or 5 windows that I use at work to go between programs and just look at the wall and access it. And she was like, "Well, you look at the wall." I said, "Yeah, it's put on the wall." And I explained the concept of the HoloLens.
It's hard to explain.
And she looked at me like I was talking about something. It was like, that's a real thing. I go, no, that's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
That's coming around the corner. And then just like the whole, she was just, and this is just a regular person who really never knew what any of that was, and just was like, wow. And Facebook is that gateway. Once
Absolutely.
Look at Facebook now, anything that goes on there, even if it's fake news,
becomes everybody shares
wave.
it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Once you know that they're getting in that space, and why not? They got more money than almost any of these other companies, really, if you think about it. I think that'll kind of help push that whole discussion. At least it becomes on people's minds about being inquisitive and then asking about it, and that just was what drives the rest of it. Once people start getting a groundswell of interest, I think that'll push it a little harder.
When we went to over in NASA, over in Florida.
Johnson Space Center?
Yeah, Kennedy Space Center.
Spencer.
Yeah. they had the HoloLens demo that Mary Jo and Paul were doing, way back in like early January, February, on Mars and whatnot. And it was pretty impressive. I mean, graphics-wise, like the rendering of Mars, like I could tell, like, it looks like a maybe early 360 game, maybe like even like a late PS2 game, because it was a little
blocky. But
like overall, it was in a dark room, so the experience overall was pretty cool. And like you said, having that full computer on your head is pretty amazing.
Right. And the fact that that's not a mock-up, I mean, that's something that actually works. And it's,
yeah.
I mean, you think about a couple of years from now how fast Microsoft can develop that and really kind of get it out. I mean, I can tell you once it comes out.
They have it on market, unlike other brands. Other brands keep saying, "Oh, we have this thing," but where is it?
Yeah, which is actually one of the topics of the episode of Everything VR and AR that I released this week was with Carl Gattag.
I'm looking forward to that.
And
one.
He worked at Texas Instruments for like 20 years. So we're talking back in the 70s, and he helped create one of the processors or chips or whatever that Nintendo ended up using in the original NES and one of the first video cards and SD RAM. I'm like, dude, this is just awesome. So his family, his dad and brothers are all big into patents and patent attorneys and stuff like that. So he kind of took it upon himself to try to solve the puzzle for Magic Leap, because Magic Leap is the virtual augmented mixed reality unicorn right now, and the fact that they've raised $1.something billion and they're valued at $4.something billion, and Google and Alibaba and so many different companies are heavily invested in this company that have not done or really shown anything except some videos. And with him being a display expert, he kind of knows, well, some of the stuff based on their patents and what they're showing, it's not adding up.
It's vaporware right now.
Yeah, their 1-in-1 is equaling 3, where obviously 1-in-1 really makes 2, so stuff's not adding up yet. Not to say that they can't do it, it's just they haven't patented or shown off anything that really looks like it is ready, obviously.
Yeah, and they kind of got to watch it too, because they'll run into the same problem Microsoft had, where they show you this thing, and you're like, oh, wow, that's so cool. And then you see the thing, and you're like, well, it's not as cool as you showed me in the demo. I mean, they could get to the point to where they hype it up so much like No Man's Sky was, and then it just crashes and burns.
Right, because they can never achieve what it is they showed off in their demo.
Yeah, their tech demo, and big air quotations for those of you who cannot see us through the interwebs.
Yeah, because if you go to Magic Leap's website and you see the little whale jumping out of the school gym floor and splashes everywhere and kids start cheering, you're like, yeah, I don't think so.
Looks cool, but does it work?
Right. So have a listen to that episode. I think it's going to be very interesting, and you can hear that on Everything VR AR Podcast, which you can find at thevrara.com/podcast. Fantastic episode, long discussion, longer episode than usual, so be prepared for that. It was almost twice as long.
So did you not split it up into 2?
No, I just went straight through and kind of threw in a short little break about 26 minutes in. So, good stuff.
And I would say this year's kind of the year of the TV a little bit, because 4K finally started to take off a little bit. It's kind of got some momentum, so next year, when they start releasing all the new TVs, they're just going to get better and better, and it'll be a great time.
It's a little bit more affordable now.
Yeah, and that's kind of the key right there. And most people don't want to spend anything near $1,000 for a TV. They're good with just a $400 TV, which is fine. To each their own. I'm a weird tech guy that likes to spend money on things that I use a lot, i.e. my TV that I spend thousands of hours on, so I don't mind shelling out a few extra just to get it earlier.
Right. And I guess it comes down to where you're at in life. I mean, if you're in a situation where you have a little bit more disposable income because you're in that place, that decision makes it a little easier, as opposed to if you're a family like, hey, we just got to got the 2 or 3-year-old, and then we got to watch something. So the Vizio at Walmart for $5.50.
Exactly.
That's what I have. Vizios, and I love them. I've had really good experiences.
Well, and Vizio, I've been telling everybody, like, Vizio is in the same way in the car industry like Kia is. Like, they have come a long way. Like, they're starting to get quality behind them. Like, people will go out of their way to buy like Hyundais and Kias now. Right. And same with Vizio versus like maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, all 3 TVs in my house they're all Vizios. My mom's got a small one. I have a larger, like a 27-inch, and then I have an old 240 hertz about like 5 or 6 years ago. And I've never had an ounce of problems on them. They have been stellar, good picture quality. They've been durable and everything else.
They have like one of the best low input lags too for gaming. So.
Yeah, I mean, that 240 hertz one is really nice. But like I said, I you'll be surprised if in a situation like where I'm at, if I can get a good sized TV with good picture quality for $500, I'm good there instead of maybe pushing that $1,500 $1,250 envelope. It might just be a little bit more than I can swallow at this time.
Right.
At some point.
Well. In your case, you'd rather get the Surface Book than the TV.
Right. So it's a switcheroo.
Yeah, for sure.
But the fact that I think, you're right, the 4K, I think now that there's content, now we have consoles that can push that content.
Fine.
Yeah, I think as that starts to come around, I think 2017 you'll see that near the end of it, they'll get a lot more, and it'll be a lot more available, and people will probably take more dives on it.
Speaking of consoles, I mean, Scorpio's next year for Xbox.
Yep, next fall.
This could be a really strong push for Xbox now.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited about the Scorpio.
Some news that we have here a little later, and what they're sort of, I can't say promising because they haven't really promised anything yet. I mean, what they're hinting at. It'd be interesting to see fully what Nintendo Switch is. That's definitely on the radar. I really... I grew up Nintendo. I want to get back into it, basically. Yeah, so
I'm ready to pre-order. So as soon as I get the email notifications, hey, go ahead and pre-order it. I'm pre-ordering one as fast as I can. So
right, you and a million something other people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess we'll kind of have to wait and see. But
Microsoft's got a lot of momentum with the Xbox right now.
So did any of you catch that crazy article saying how potentially Microsoft has the ability to become the first $1 trillion tech company, and that's due to their acquisition from not Salesforce, it's the LinkedIn, and how that could give them enough momentum and generate enough cash to actually go past what Apple is now. Which they're sitting at what, third or fourth, maybe, but I don't know. I mean.
Well, I just think it's funny because everybody kind of flipped out about the amount that Microsoft was willing to drop on that acquisition, like what, $20-something billion acquisition. They were like,
it was pretty high. Yeah,
it was ridiculous. So they're thinking if that can generate you and push you past that threshold, I mean, just think about it. What can you actually can put out there and go, yeah, we are $1 trillion company, and it'd be like. That's you're talking about like large governments. That is GDP. I mean, we're talking about very few governments in the world can actually push as a GDP, much less as a company. Having that kind of overall valuation is crazy. It's just insanity.
Yeah. A lot of countries out there that would love to have that kind of cash flow and valuation.
I think the United States would love to have that too.
At some point.
Instead, we're the other way.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
Anyway.
I mean, Sam does work at the Fed, so I'm sure he sees some money or something.
Yeah, something. It's not too bad.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, CES is next week. So they're saying VR and AR is going to be a big thing at CES this year. So hopefully we're going to get a lot of good news and stuff like that coming out of it. And it's just going to continue building and going from there.
Oh, electric cars too. I bet we'll see more and more electric cars, especially they might even show them off at CES and whatnot. So,
yeah, that's kind of when I was out there 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years ago next week. That was when they were first showing off some of those new BMW, like i3 or whatever, or whatever those cars were, and then you had the little sport car driving around. People were test driving that in different areas, and you just see that on the streets. You're like, wow, it's a beautiful car, and
I'm really
looks nice.
Really excited of the prospect of electric cars. I don't know what, like, in quotations, the year of the electric car is going to be like, where people are like actively going out of their way to either purchase one or get things installed in their like homes or their residence, like, because I live in an apartment and I can't just like install something and expect it to be there in 10 years because I might not be there in 10 years. So it's sort of like
can't run a drop cord out to the street 2 blocks away,
and nor would you want to because it would take way too long to charge up. Like you need like that 220 outlet, like what you plug your dryer into. But it'd be a real Real fascinating to see if any more companies really take up on that.
No, I mean, I think it'll be neat to see companies start putting up little charging posts, kind of like the way you see parking meters. I think that's eventually going to happen too. Well,
like with Tesla, the way they have all their supercharging networks throughout the United States. I mean, is that something that whoever that next electric car like manufacturer is behind Tesla, can they compete with that yet? Because they're years ahead of everyone now.
Right.
So, I don't know.
We'll see.
We're
looking forward to it.
So exciting.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Anyhow.
Smartphone and kind of computer thoughts? Anything you're really looking forward to?
I mean, I think it's just going to kind of be same old, little bit step up. I think we're going to see a lot more phones, introduce the IPS rating for water resistance and things like that. Wireless charging, maybe a further distance on wireless charging. Foldable phones. What do you guys think of those? You think it's going to be next year?
No.
You think we're going to see any hints of that?
Nah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, LG did the Flex, and LG does some stuff with their displays that can kind of bend and a little bit flexible.
Do you think that's something people are going to want again?
I don't think so.
Flip phones. Hey, I got my flip smartphone.
Because
they can. I mean, when we talk foldable, we're talking completely touch to touch.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So
like a laptop.
You could take a 6-inch phone, fold it in half, and still stick it in your pocket, kind of thing.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It's going to be, if people did want that as a convenience, what technology would we have to have? How far is that implementation out? And are people willing to spend the money for it?
Yeah.
When they can just get this. I mean, look what people. I mean, I still out and about will see people still using an old Nokia bar phone. I'll still see people using a regular clamshell flip phone. Older folks. I mean, and even other people. I've seen them use. We're not talking high end stuff. It's really, if you see anybody that's got any kind of modern smartphone, it's a Samsung or it's an Apple. That's it.
You're right.
If you see somebody else's off, you don't see many Pixels floating around or OnePluses. So I think if it's available, but here's the thing, that's going to be such a premium. You're pushing a smartphone that could be in the $1,500 neighborhood, $1,250.
That's true.
I mean, sure, we're going to do the installments. That's really the only way you're going to make phones work. But that's only in the United States, because that installment stuff does not happen in the rest of the world.
No.
They're paying for phones off contract. So in developing markets, emerging markets, I like even South Korea, I just don't see if anybody's really going to spend $1,200 on a phone or whatever it's got to be. That initial one that comes out, you'll be the cool guy that has a foldable phone, but it's like anything else. It's the novelty's going to wear off, and you're still basically making phone calls, sending text messages, and browsing web content.
Well, and we have yet to see that technology actually hit the mainstream. They've shown we have flexible, TVs that you can just slap on the wall and they stick there, kind of thing, like LG's been doing. And I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe they get to the point to where the phone is so light and thin that you can fold it up, roll it up, whatever, and that gets rid of that whole, my phone's too big for my pocket kind of thing. Because I occasionally run into that.
I actually would like to see, instead of having a flip phone, where you could have a phone that was so thin that it actually could apply to your arm. Just what I mean. If you're sitting here and it could be, since we have the technology to make it foldable, it can actually be contour. So if you have a forearm and you want to just set your 5-inch device on the inside of your forearm and just be a large, especially if somebody who's doing any kind of workout application. Yeah. Imagine the entire surface of that phone touching the skin. It can give temperature readings, pulse, but it actually has enough where it can give you, instead of a wristwatch, it would just give you more. And then you can just take it off and you don't have to have separate devices.
Can you imagine a display that could run off of your internal electrical body,
or just or any kind of heat, or just heat generation? If you're working out, that it somehow back charges the battery. I mean, that's where I would see that if I really want to go with foldable devices or contourable devices, ones that you can actually wrap around, or a phone that would actually just wrap around your arm and give you a multiple display, and actually even push it into a fashion statement where kids have wrappable bracelets and make it almost like a jewelry kind of fashion kind of thing. Yeah. You'd be the cool kid that's, oh man, you got that new phone that basically it's a large strip phone that basically wraps around your arm in 2-3 configurations, and you have all your apps around here that you can customize. I mean, something like that.
Just keep rotating it around.
And if you want to get to stuff, just kind of use your hand, and then it becomes not only accessible, as far as making phone calls, but actually it's cool to wear. It becomes a wearable piece of like
fashion accessory.
Yeah, you become that guy with the pogo ball down the street. Yeah, pogo ball.
Pogo ball.
Oh yeah,
that's what you call it, right? So anyway, but I would see that if you're going to go that far, I think that would have a lot more of an application because if you can get younger people, it becomes more not just a technology but a fashion piece and something that it can be a wearable that's customizable. You can put it on either arm, you can put it on your arm, you can put it on your leg, on your ankle. I mean, just to have the ability to kind of be modular with where you can place it on your body. And I have this typical take it out of your pocket, put it in your pocket, take it out of your pocket, put it in your pocket. But anytime you want to look at something, I think that would be cool. I think that would be more of an application I'd like to see happen.
And I think that's what Apple was going for, is they wanted that customizable band thing. They wanted it to be a fashion statement to kind of get it out in, the public's eye. But it didn't really quite get to where they wanted it to be. So,
and then you can eliminate the battery if you can find a way to make it biometrically chargeable. You would eliminate the whole battery problem. You can just it would wear all day as you wear it. It would be like Seiko watches. Remember, used to have Eco Drives and Kinetic ones that would charge with some kind of have a mechanism that would charge as you walk. That would be a good way. I don't know if it's going to have enough amperage to keep that display going, but if you have a display that's thin enough, it could work. I think it could work. Somebody's got to figure it out eventually. So
yeah, exactly. That's the way I see it.
I'd like to see that happen at some point.
Yeah, like within the next, we'll just say 5 years to
oh yeah,
kind of give it a little cushion. It would be kind of different. It would really be kind of different. I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what Apple does now that they've integrated dual camera technology on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, or actually 7 Plus. So it'll be kind of nice to kind of see what it is that they're going to do moving forward with that. And again, it goes back to what they're going to be doing with AR. I don't know. Robert Scoble might know. Tim Cook obviously knows, and some of the other people. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. So I don't know. Is there anything else you're kind of looking forward to, like music streaming or?
I mean, app-wise, you have that new app? Oh, I'll check that out. And they don't excite me as much as they used to.
Right. I think everything's covered. I mean, for the most part, if you've got. I mean, I started using Groove on my, and I like it. I have Spotify, and so I mean, but there's nothing that really kind of like. Oh, I mean, somebody mentions at work, I'll check it out, and you look at it, and you go, yeah, okay. And then you go back to whatever.
But give it 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, I just don't. I really honestly think the majority of what people use on a daily basis is fairly covered, and there's definitely more than one option. I mean, between streaming music or streaming video. I mean, even heck with I went and cut the cord, so now I've got access to Hulu and PlayStation View and
Netflix,
Netflix, and then and I got a Roku. Or I could have used. My brother-in-law bought me a Fire Stick.
Did you unlock that?
Yes, it did. Of course I did.
Imagine that. So yeah, I did, and check that out. I didn't do anything really much with it, but yeah, I already had Roku devices up there to kind of do that. So I've been kind of playing with that. So like you said, there's nothing's really out there to excite you, and there's multiple options for everything. So even if there's something you didn't know about, now you go, okay, here's Groove, here's Apple Music. Okay, fine. And they're all becoming ubiquitous across platforms anyway. So it's not even a real big thing. Like, I can't get Apple Music. Well, I've got 3 other alternatives, so it's all good. Yeah, there are plenty of music streaming options out there.
Right.
So talking about the Fire Stick and unlocking, what benefits do you get by doing that? What have you done that you're like, ooh, this is really cool and worth it?
I installed that Kodi on it, so that's what's on it and running it. But really, the only thing I was able to find was this thing called Exodus, and just basically I guess it's your standard torrent site, just like anything else. You got, it's got Rogue One, all that kind of stuff, and of course, and I didn't get really into it, so I don't really know. But I'm sure we're not anywhere in the neighborhood of anything intellectual property. we're way in the neighborhood of stealing and pirating. So
you're not going to get that phone call or that knock on the door.
Honest to God, that's honestly the reason why I really dig into it far, because I kind of was able to identify that that's kind of where that's going to go. I'm thinking, do I really want another nasty gram from AT&T, because they're pretty up on it. Now, my brother who lives in Germany, my brother-in-law, that's pretty much how they get their content. I mean, I guess in Germany maybe it's different. He lives in an Air Force base. I actually lives off base, but he's in the Air Force. So really that's where it came from. He uses that all the time. So he was the one that kind of told me about it. Well, I already knew about Kodi. So he pretty much said, he goes, I know your brother, I know Sam already knows about this. So I'm just going to give you the Fire Stick for Christmas. So I installed it. It works great. I do actually like it more than the Roku stick, though, because it's got the Alexa. So I can just say, it's got the voice integration. Like speak in there. That's great. So I'm just like, Firefly. It kind of comes up. It's like, no, that's pretty cool.
I still need to finish that. It's so good.
I got it. It's so bad. I actually downloaded. I got a $25 Xbox card. I actually downloaded the entire
series.
Yeah, it was $21 on.
Nice.
And so I've got that on my thing. I've got Serenity, so now I'm totally covered. But yeah, I've seen those episodes. It's fantastic. It's such a shame that so it's not on TV anymore.
Yeah, it's like Faulty Towers. They only made like so many, and they're so good, but that's it.
Yeah.
And look at you dropping a Faulty Towers, man. That's
I grew up
John
with that.
Cleese. That's old British BBC stuff over there, man.
Yep, I grew up with that.
Silly Walks and everything else.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
I've got the I'd got the set for my brother-in-law on DVD years ago, and since he passed away, I ended up getting it back, and so I haven't had a chance to watch it anymore. But it's fun, just that nice simple humor. And one of the other things too, over this last holiday week, I've had a chance to kind of be at home and just getting away from technology and stuff like that. I find myself firing up MTV. Me TV. Scratch that. And
It's
Antenna
like,
TV. Watching, like All in the Family and Jeffersons and stuff
So
like
for
that.
those
It's
of you
like,
not in the St. Louis area, Antenna TV is kind of like in TV land almost.
well, it's a nationwide thing. It's
Is
just,
it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
It just happens to be like I installed an antenna. I get it's like 4.2 and 4.3. So
Yeah,
subsets.
I think
of
it's
your,
like Antenna TV in St. Louis, it's 2.2, and then like 4.2 for Me TV. And it just depends on if you can get it through your cable provider, some of them, and we just do it with the HD antenna, so over the air.
Right. I can't use the HD antenna. I got to put an actual physical antenna on my house because I live out in the
middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so so I did that too. So I have that all set up. So actually, the show I just got done finishing is the Man in the High Castle.
how do you like that?
It's fantastic.
So I watched the first episode, and I think I could have kept going, but Sarah just wasn't getting it. She just wasn't crazy about it.
You're gonna have to plow through that first couple of episodes.
Yeah.
It's like when people tell me about The Walking Dead. I watched the first 5. I go, this doesn't make sense.
See, that's interesting because the first 20 minutes I was like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah, but like I said, this second season went out. Actually, it was funny because there's 10 episodes. My wife and I wanted to kind of specifically make sure we don't. And we Friday night 5 episodes, Saturday night 5 episodes. We're done. We're in the show hole.
Yep.
And that's the end of it. So, but it's fantastic. Almost to the point where it makes me want to read the book, which I usually don't do. I usually go book first and then try to watch the show 11, 22, 63. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't do it because, first of all, I can't see. If you read the book and you see James Franco, it doesn't work for you. First of all, the guy in the book's 6'4". Well, James Franco, and you have your own drawn-up image of what these people look like.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just...
I did like it. It didn't quite end how I was hoping.
The endings were ridiculous.
Yeah.
They just kind of went off the nowhere. But as far as watching the show after book, it never works.
No, yeah, I definitely get that.
So this time around, I've watched the Man in the High Castle show. I've not read the book originally, but apparently it's pretty good too. So I want to try.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, it's good. If you can get a chance to try, give it a shot. I think you'll like it. I especially, it's just trippy to watch 1962 America with a Nazi. It's just weird. It just starts to really kind of throw you off. You see funerals with pictures of Hitler and he's 60s. You're like, God, I can't do it.
that could never happen.
It's so off-putting to me. It's just so.
But for some reason, I really like those dystopian,
those
alternate futures.
I think if you get through that first season, it's going to be okay. But when you get midway, about episode 4 or 5, you're gonna be like, forget it. I'm ready for season 3 right now. It's good. It's that good. Yeah. So I highly recommend it.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of that ABC show, I believe it is, Timeless.
Oh yeah, we watched that too.
It's really good.
It's really good, actually. We watched all the way through, and we're caught up on that. So that was another show we watched.
Curious to see if they can go beyond a season 1, just the way that the last episode ended. But we'll see. But I think the whole premise behind it, and I'm all about time travel and how you're going to alter the future to whenever you're bouncing back to the past and interacting with people, and some people dying, and then you come back and you're like, ooh, wow, I don't have a sister anymore.
Right.
Like, what?
Well, I think they can do it. If they can make Roseanne last for all those episodes, all those seasons, I think they can.
They can do something with that.
Oh, yeah. That's bad.
So it was good. Okay. So any other tech predictions or anything else you're thinking?
Not really.
Things you'd like to definitely see?
I would love to see the whole modular thing take off with phones and computers. It's such a good idea. There's so much you can do there. And I still think that the Scorpio is going to be modular, where you buy the core, and then it comes with all the the first round of things, but then they can just keep upgrading it.
Yeah, here's your core CPU, kind of your baseline. But yeah, you can plug and play your CPU if you want to upgrade your graphics. Go right ahead.
If they can figure that out on a console, not only will that make them more money, and get people excited about consoles again, but there goes your argument on consoles just not being able to keep up and how they fall behind. Like, you can just keep upgrading it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Like, you can just buy the core thing and just keep playing games like normal.
Yeah, you'll get a good baseline experience, but if you really want to dial it up, these things are PCs now. Let's quit beating around the bush. I mean, they're both the PlayStation and the Xbox. It's a computer.
Yeah.
It's a computer.
I guess the only thing I would worry about is the fragmentation of now if you don't have the specific mod. It's like any computer. It's like if you don't have that's what I liked about consoles. You didn't have to worry about, can my rig run this game? If I buy this game at GameStop, it's going to run no matter what.
Just the way it works on Johnny's machine.
But it's like, say I go to your house and I've got my core with my little 1 setup, and I see Brad's core at 4 setups, and now he's able to run this game, same quality kind of game, but you have a little bit better experience, then it's going to make me have to do that whole, okay, well, I can't get that experience, but I don't have the money, so I feel downgraded. You know what I mean? I'm put in a position where, like a PC gamer, I could run this on recommended, or I can run it on maximum, and you get that kind of, it starts to become an issue where the consoles were kind of immune from that. You knew that if you bought a Nintendo, or if you bought a Wii, or if you bought an Xbox One, you knew that was going to run out of the box no matter what. Whereas now, if you get the modular thing going on, you're going to start getting people with different amounts of income fragmenting into that ecosystem, and they're going to, even though if the game's the same, it still plays. When I go see yours on this nice 4K TV, and I have a 4K TV, but you have these certain mods that are pushing it to this level that's beyond me that I can't get to.
Right.
I feel cheated.
Yeah. No, that's true.
That's the only downfall I see. But other than that, I think it's fantastic. The modular thing would be great, because then you can go as crazy as you want to go, and you don't have to worry about when is Xbox going to make me a new system. It's, here we go, we decided we just gave you some extra RAM. Just like the old jumper pack from your N64.
Yeah.
Right.
Just throw it in.
Plug it in,
boom. And if you had one, great. But it was accessible. It wasn't so out of the way. That's where it's got to be. If that mod can be accessible to all people at a good price point, or anybody could get it.
I don't see how, or maybe why it couldn't. Like, the most expensive thing would be the graphics card.
Right.
And, I mean, if they could get that thing down to, I don't know, selling it $200 to $300, I mean, the card alone, there's so much that it does for a console where, like, RAM, cheap. Memory, cheap. Like, most of the other components are pretty cheap. So, yeah,
but I guess when it comes down to it is, when you're going to that PC game, you're expecting to pay $300 for a card. Once people start paying more than $399 for an actual whole console, they start to balk at that.
Well, yeah, they do.
And people in the PC land are willing to spend $200, $300, $400. Can you imagine making a console that was $850? No, it'd be a harder sell as opposed to an $850 computer. You can get a good gaming experience at an $850 rig. You'd be great.
Yeah.
But pushing an $850 console, that's where you can only push that so far.
That's true.
Yeah. So it's gonna, if they can make it all work.
The one thing they do have going for them is Windows is scalable.
Yeah.
So,
that's true.
And with the way the Xbox games are now, you can make them cross-platform like Recore did in Gears of War, where you can play it on the PC with your crazy, insane amount of graphics, or you can just play it on the Xbox and just get the normal whatever experience.
Still great experience.
As long as you can get a good experience.
And
that's the trick.
I think that, like you said, that's the trick. That's the key to making that just make all the pieces, make everything work.
Yeah. So that's as far as I would like to see. That'd be pretty cool. I hope that wouldn't. But yeah, I am definitely excited for Scorpio and the possibilities that are there, and see how they want to go with it. I'm kind of waiting to see.
Yeah, I think E3 is going to be a little interesting. I don't know if that's when Microsoft will show off more of Scorpio.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
more
a
of like
pre-E3 or if it's a post-E3. I don't know, because
I think maybe you just have to have an event. Not a build-style event. We're just going to have to say, we're ready, we have workable mock-ups, here we go. And Microsoft's got enough of that market presence, they can pull that off. It's not like...
They did it with the One.
Right. So I think they would probably do that. If it's not on the timeline for the E3 and they don't really want to have anything to come out and kind of limp into it, I think they'll say, well, it's not going to be a build because it's not a development thing. Let's just go ahead and press releases, put a little cool little thing, send a bunch of emails, and they'll get people. I guarantee they'll get people...
Oh, they'll come out there and cover it and hype it up.
I say build happens, then an Xbox event, and then we might see like the actual price at E3,
right?
And like maybe different SKUs of it or something,
right? Or what they're going to do as far as maybe modular ability, if they can do that.
Yeah. Speaking of modular designs, some LG G6 renders have popped out with a, again, dual camera setup, but no sign of modular design this time around.
No, I mean, and the worst part is this kind of was dead in the water in the US as soon as it came out, because the FCC just wouldn't allow some of those modular pieces to be sold in the US. Yeah. So it was just dead in the water immediately, which kind of stinks, because I kind of wanted some of that stuff, but if I can't buy it, I'm just kind of stuck with what I got, I guess.
And it was kind of disappointing, because you would have thought that people in LG's corporate structure could have ran that by the FCC.
Would have thought?
That they would have thought, okay, we want to do these mods, and they're going to be like, yeah, no, and no, and no.
Yeah, here's why.
Mm-hmm. And maybe they did do that, and then LG said, well, we'll just go ahead and put it out anyway, because we have to have something. We can't just come out with nothing. So, and anything else. I mean, how many times? I mean, the Xperia lines of phones that had a fingerprint reader but wasn't available in the U.S.
Right.
But it's built into the phone.
Right.
And not for an FCC restriction, just because we don't care. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the situation. Maybe LG did get that, and they're like, well, man, we have to come out with something. We're kind of too late in the pipe on this one, so we're just going to have to go, and if they only have one or two, whatever, and then we just gotta have to kind of go with what we got.
I mean, I'm rocking the LG G5 right now, and I really do like it. I am curious to see what changes with this phone or what stays the same. I'm more worried at what stays the same, because I really do like that IR blaster. And I know it's stupid. It's a silly app that I could probably get over, but I really like it.
Right, to have your phone as a remote control is pretty dang awesome.
But why not put it in there?
Exactly.
I mean, how much is it going to cost you? $20? You put an app on there, who cares? I mean, it's like, if you can throw it in there and it doesn't really affect your overall build and it doesn't really affect functionality, why not just throw it on there and then go, hey, we got an IR blaster. And it's just like anything else. Do you really need water and dust resistance? I've never needed that on a phone. I've never dropped into a lake, a toilet, a river, nothing. A splash with water. So if it doesn't have an IP68 rating, I'm like, I'm off the grid. I'm sorry, I'm not buying your phone. That has nothing to do for me. But it sounds good.
Yeah.
You got Lil Wayne pouring champagne on it. Like, I can pour champagne on my phone. Why would you do that? Yeah, I don't know. So it's like with that, if you can add it, it only adds so much, like a few dollars to your overall cost of the device. Why not just throw it on there? Mm-hmm. Why not give people wireless charging, especially if you have a device that's glass in the back? Why not? I mean, just
I almost bet that it will have wireless charging, that it will have, well, it obviously will have the dual camera setup again, the fingerprint on the back, and a USB Type-C charger. It's just kind of remains to be seen, Again, will there be the IPS ratings for water resistance? And I mean, it's kind of like, I can live without it. But if it's there, cool. But it's kind of the IR blaster. I'm like, are they going to keep that?
I mean, looking at these mock-ups too, it really does remind me of the Nexus 4. Just because, these renders look like it's such a plain black slab.
They're very...
But I like this look of this plain black slab because I remember, my G4, how much I enjoyed it. And I mean, I like this. The Nexus 4, I liked that phone. It was just nice and simple, but it didn't need to have that glass back to me.
It goes on to say the back is said to be made out of a highly reflective metallic material. The only thing I can think of that would be similar to that would be what the new S7s are. That really highly reflective, like you get the silver one, it looks almost chrome.
Right.
So it's the only thing I can think of. I mean, it looks cool. Will it look good on this device? It remains to be seen, but I guess we'll see very, very soon. And they get you keep your 3.5 millimeter head,
Yeah. I don't know. The runners I look at, they just... I think it looks great. I don't know if I would buy one because I'm just not in the LG camp. But it has that. It just, again, it has an iPhone 7 look to it. It just has that look. I mean, obviously with the dual camera, and even the dual camera setup now. I mean, obviously you've got the fingerprint scanner on the back. I don't know. This might be the first LG I would actually maybe seriously take a look at as far as a device. I mean, it's just never been in my wheelhouse before. Not because of it. I think it's mostly because of LG's software overlay. I've never really cared for it. It's a little clean. And their phones have never been anything that's like, wow, that's just a dynamic look. So maybe this might be the one that I can take a swing at, and we'll see.
Yeah, I just happened across this one because, well, again, my wife works for a carrier, so... when you get a free phone, you just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, sweet. I wouldn't mind having one.
But it's good to see. I mean, I actually like the renders. I think they're so far it's clean. I wouldn't go for the gloss because I'm just not into that.
No,
it's just not my thing.
I'm glad to see that the top of the screen in these renders is not curved. That's nice.
Yeah. That would be great, so I could put a glass screen protector on my glass freaking front of my phone so I don't break the dang thing.
But, do you really have many scratches on your phone as it is? That really stand out to you?
No, definitely not stand out. You really have to look close to see them. I know when they're there, when I'm cleaning it or really looking for them, but again, you said.
But it's not opening up a certain app and you look in a certain spot every time you go,
No. Nope.
Okay. So apparently it hasn't been the end of the world that it didn't have a
It's more of the possibility of me being clumsy out with friends and dropping it or just right where that corner hits right on the glass.
What I guess my thing is I would like to see, I'm still waiting for somebody to do it, and I thought Pixel at least did it. We need to go old Nokia with the colors. Get stupid.
Yes.
Why don't we see one manufacturer just go, you know what?
Let's go an entire rainbow.
Yeah, let's go crazy. Let's go 4 or 5 different SKUs, and here's what I would like to see: no black at all, no white at all. It's got to be, if you want the color, it's either going to be a blue like that. I can tell you right now. Look at Swap and see. Look at the price for Pixels in blue. And it's just ridiculous. They want actually an extra $100 and something plus.
Everybody's tired of white and black. Yeah, I love white and black.
If you want to go, it's just like, look how people got excited about an iPhone that was black, because it was. It's like, can you imagine coming out with a neon orange and a neon yellow? Like, I'm talking golf ball orange, golf ball yellow, just that blue, that real, like the days of the old Lumia line, where you could really get
real cyan.
Yeah, the real cyan, the 920, where it was like bright red, bright blue, yellow. Just orange. Just give people something instead of just black and white slabs. I don't know. The first company that makes a phone that's like bright yellow or neon orange or something, I don't even care, even if it runs Windows, iPhone, I don't care. It could run Symbian. It could run Palm. I don't even care. I will buy it just because of the fact that it stands out. And that's, for me, it's important. If I'm going to spend that much money on a device, I want it to stand out. And I think the first company that can really decide to just go kind of wacky with the colors, I bet you they'd sell a truckload of them.
Didn't Motorola do that?
Yeah, with the custom.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You can do custom.
Yeah, with the Moto X.
Yeah, the Moto mods.
Yep.
You can get crazy with that, and some of those were really, really cool. But again, it wasn't a mainstream kind of phone. Right. It has to be a Samsung or an Apple.
Right. Okay.
Or maybe an LG, because the HTC is just not going to have enough force to do it. It's got to be Apple or Samsung. You can't imagine. Can you imagine? Look how many people put colored cases on their iPhones.
Exactly.
Kevin's brought a red one. Can you imagine just having your phone being red? Just red right off the bat. You don't have to put a case on it. Just put a clear case.
I know. I would love
the color.
Yeah.
If Apple did that, that would be crazy.
If this iPhone was red by itself, it'd be fine.
Well, that's what it's going to have to happen. Apple's going to have to go in that, have a couple of different colors like that, real bold, and that's going to everybody else.
Oh, the first color they'd come out with is red too. I guarantee.
Right, with product red.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's another thing I do like about what Apple does. I mean, they make the exact same case in a wide variety of colors for that, with that little silicone case,
right? Or even the leather one if you want to go that route. I actually have that green leather one for my 6 Plus that sits in a drawer because I don't want to give it to my daughter. She's a gravity person. She likes to drop a phone everywhere. But that's what I had. It was that kind of lime green color. It was fantastic. I didn't really like the case because it was slippery, and I couldn't ever get access to the button. I always had to kind of I don't have fingernails, so trying to get that rocker switch was like to kind of dig into it. But as far as the color, it was fantastic. I was I rock this thing constantly. So
I love being able to just change up the color of my phone. I've got the black one, I've got the red one, and I just swapped it back to the red just within the last probably 2 weeks, I guess it was. Like, I'm gonna put the red case back on.
Yeah, I like the red case on yours, especially with the black. It looks really sharp.
Yeah,
it's good.
But would you guys rather have them do, again, this kind of goes to the modular thing where you just have swappable backs?
Kind of like how the 950 was, where I could basically, I want leather now.
Or Mozo. Yeah, wood grain. Yeah.
Here, pop it out.
I'd be okay with that.
Something out.
I know how many times when I had my old 950, I had that wood, the Mozo case when I bought it, and people ask me about it all the time. Is that a case? Like, no, it's the shell of the phone. They're like, wow, really? I go,
what kind of phone is it?
What kind of phone is it? Windows phone? What's a Windows phone? And there we go.
Okay.
And there we go. We're back. Yeah, good. Okay, I'm going to go home. I'm going to take my Windows phone and go home now.
Yeah, speaking of things that are kind of dying, rest in peace to Cyanogen, because Cyanogen is, as people would typically know it is kind of ending, and so they're just changing some things up. I think kind of the team is still going to continue under a much smaller organization, and they're going to use the name Lineage OS. It's just going to be kind of a continuation of what CyanogenMod was, so some similarities for those people who like to completely customize. I mean, Android's customizable as it is, but Cyanogen can really extend I wouldn't say, well, I guess you could say extend the life of a smartphone. It can take an older device and give it versions of Android that Google was never going to get for it. I mean, there's people that were able to put like more recent versions of Android on like Nexus 4 and the Nexus S and stuff like that.
Yeah, when I had my old M8 and my HTC M8, I ran, when I had a nonsense-based ROM, this was the go-to. The Cyanogen was like, and that was how you could really basically pre-build, the old ice cream sandwich, marshmallow, Kit Kat kind of things. That was where it was. I mean, and like I said, a lot of people like that clean stock Android. And somebody actually had an article about people say they want stock Android, but they really don't. The best-selling phones are all skinned. The best-selling phones are not Google phones. They're not Nexus devices. They're not Motorola. They're Samsungs. They're LGs. Those kinds of phones that are heavily skinned and customized.
They think it's Android, though.
Right.
They see it as Android because the phone itself, the hardware of the phone is good.
Right.
So
yeah, but it's So if you were in the days of my rooting and flashing ROMs on my HTCs with unlockable bootloaders, this was kind of the gold standard when it came to ROMs. This was the way it goes. And they were all sorts of ROMs. HTC had Evos and LGs and Motorola's. I mean, that was like, go to their website. If you can look at their ROM list, it's a ridiculous amount of ROMs they have for all sorts of devices. It's hundreds of them.
Yeah, I think I was putting Android 4 or something like that on the HTC Desire, which was basically the Nexus 1.
Right.
And I was putting that on there on a regular basis until it just got to the point like, stop even bothering with it.
Yeah, I just remember watching and waiting for like the new CyanogenMod 11. You're like, oh, wow, release candidate. Oh, it's unstable. I don't care if it's unstable. Just put it on there anyway. It wouldn't even work and stuff would just crash.
Like, I don't
nightly,
care. Yeah.
But yeah, nightly builds. You used to sit there and just wait for every nightly build to come up and just jump on them. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a shame. It's kind of a shame that's kind of the way it is, but apparently they've always had financial issues. I guess they finally caught up to them.
Yeah,
it's a passionate group of people. That's what we'll say. I mean, a lot of it was just a lot of volunteers. Oh, man. And we did kind of touch on electric vehicles because earlier this week, a really cool kind of dash cam video started circulating, if I can get this word out, around the internet about Tesla. And did they say if it was a Model S or Model X or what?
I don't remember, but it does have the new
Autopilot
8.0, the version of Autopilot, which is the one where it, in big quotations, it sees things much better than
predicts the future.
In some ways, yes. I mean, if two cars are angled a certain way and they go to cross, it's going to happen, and it's already going to know what's happening. So, and this you can clearly see in this video that we'll have in the show notes. Basically, a red car comes up behind some black SUV, clips it right in the corner, and the Tesla's already braking. I mean, and they're on highway. They're going highway speed, so it brakes just in time though to miss this.
It just completely stops before it even gets to any of the skid marks from the damaged cars, because the red car, like you said, clips the right rear of the SUV, knocks it into the guardrail. The SUV rolls 2 or 3 times, and it's just amazing how things just stops in the middle of the street automatically. Like, that was so cool to see.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. When we're talking, driverless cars that save lives, this is the potential of what they could do. Like, we're not even into the weeds of where, they predict things and saving people's lives, right and left every day. Very few people have these, autopilots on Tesla. First you have to have Tesla, then you have to have Autopilot. So there are very few people, but once more and more people have that, it's going to be a lot safer roadway, I think.
And then accidents like that one would not happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, that looks like a pretty little vicious accident. Luckily, nobody was hurt. I'm kind of surprised because seeing that SUV just start rolling over
Cars are built well these days. Most of them.
True, yeah.
And this is in the Netherlands, so they're probably wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah.
As opposed to an American, because I guarantee after that first roll and the way this is rolling,
went out the
that person's going to go right out the front, right out of the driver's side windows where it's going to go because of the way this is rolling.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was just pretty vicious. And the fact that it doesn't look like any other cars got hit. Because
it's kind of a miracle.
Then because the little red car ends up going backwards off the right lane, and then there's two cars that slow and brake just before they slide into it. Yeah.
It's wild. I mean,
it was just really good driving by the other people on the highway at that time. One person just was not driving good that day. Oh, goodness gracious. Interesting stuff. All right, folks, we're going to take a short little break and be right back with a little bit more tech news. So stay tuned.
Stand by for Titanfall.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Tech Informist podcast. Kevin, Brad, Sam, talking about technology and some of the latest tech news of this week after we just finished talking about some tech predictions and wishes. We talked about Cyanogen going bye-bye, LG G6 renders, Tesla Autopilot braking for a crash. Now it's time to talk about robots. And myself, as a big fan of Titanfall and Titanfall 2, this is kind of pretty cool. So, Brad, you put this in the show notes, and
I did
talk about this.
So, in all places, in South Korea, I believe, there's going to be a basically mech that stands over 13 feet tall and will have a person that can sit in this and patrol the
DMZ.
The DMZ, and it just kind of blew my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's actually happening.
Here comes Titanfall.
Yeah, stand by for Titanfall. So
exactly.
I don't know. What do you see this being more of a thing? Do you see us like making it to where our bodies are these robots are extensions of our bodies? Do you see that becoming like a viable thing, especially in like warfare and stuff?
Oh yeah, Edge of Tomorrow. I see that as a total absolute, not the whole looping time thing, but the actual hardware, I totally see it as a military application completely, because it doesn't all have military applications, but you also have CBs and construction. Imagine having these mechs and you can put up bridges within half the time, especially in a battlefield area or in a forward area, being able to deploy bridges or other things, and having these mechs being able to live large loads or clear out a bunch of area for an airstrip. Can you imagine what 4 or 5 of these things can do if they have application where they can clear trees? You can make a makeshift airstrip in a matter of an hour, and then you can deploy it that way, and then have those same mechs actually have military equipment so they can actually engage a combat threat if it shows up. I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
I think these will be a stepping stone, or maybe they'll stick around, but I think they're a stepping stone till we get to the point where they can control and understand their own orders.
Right.
Almost like, telling a person, hey, go cut down that tree. You just tell this robot, hey, go cut down that 100 acres of tree,
Right. I actually see that this might be more of this kind of application, but more of a Fallout, where you actually can step in the back of a suit and it actually is like a powered suit.
Right.
I can see that as a real possibility, maybe in 20 years, where units are actually deployed as these are, heavy response, quick deployable for around the world. Drop these out of they basically have a deployable chute, have 10 of them run out the back of a C-130, deploy and hit the ground and be on the ground and battle ready to do whatever you want to do, and be deployable all over the world within a matter of hours. I see that as a real possibility before any other kind of like AI thing. But until we get to that point, this is the bridge between. Yeah, absolutely.
That gets kind of scary then.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting here looking at this, and again, we'll have a link to this from bgr.com, and you look at this short little video, and then you see the names South and North Korea, and you think, man, this just doesn't sound like a fantastic idea for the location that they're thinking of doing this in. Because, North Korea, not exactly the friendliest country in the world. And, of course, South Korea, they're just kind of been butting heads for decades and centuries, I'm sure. And I don't know. It's just... you talk about World War III, so this could be part of it.
Korea's a big tech hub, so they...
not denying that.
They're still at war.
So there's that.
I was going to say, if this is going to have any direct defense and military application, where else would it be deployable in the world that really, as opposed to, I mean, can you imagine a whole DMZ full of these things? 10 or 15 just right there at the checkpoint?
So instead of Japan actually coming out with mechs first and it be Korea, something tells me that we might be building mechs here very shortly.
It just goes to show what the United States could actually be working on that we just haven't seen.
Yeah. That's true, too.
That's very true.
They have a place like DARPA. They have those things are real defense projects. They've got stuff like this in the work. They just don't have to deploy it. This is just kind of I mean, can you imagine people in North Korea? Because they work on a propaganda level.
Right.
So this is a whole, let the North Koreans see that there's no way they have enough. They're working about nuclear weapons and all this kind of stuff, especially if these can be radioactive proof or blast proof.
Yeah.
So even if they can deploy those on a border, that these things could, let's say that North Koreans do have mounted an attack, that these things can be deployed and go right up into the middle of North Korea and really be unstoppable. I mean, that's a whole reason why this is being done this way. That's to show these people, hey.
Yep.
And the reason why the Japanese probably can't do it is because, unfortunately, we still are in control of their defense budgets and all those kinds of things because we wrote their constitution. So their military response and their military hardware have to be highly controlled, and plus there's other players in the region that wouldn't really – they'll let the North Koreans and South Koreans kind of do this stuff because they can understand that, but if in Japan this was deployed, you have a lot of other interests in the region that would not – because that's obviously an American influence. Our friends from China probably wouldn't take too kindly to this being developed.
Or Russia.
Yeah, or the Russians. Yeah, exactly. So there's a whole geopolitical reason why this is done, but I think that's pretty remarkable. But I think you're right. This is that bridging between the AI, full AI robots engaging orders and humans coming.
Because if you can send robots to safely go do what a human would normally have to do, but there's no casualties, but the mission's still a success.
Like drones.
They're exactly.
Even areas that have been irradiated after, you don't want to send human troops in there because it's unsafe. It's, maybe on fire.
You send the little drone out there to go.
And that's an acceptable loss. Americans can accept that as a loss of hardware. If there was, that it was, so it's pretty remarkable that they're actually having this. It's going to be interesting to see. But I think it looks.
I mean, they're saying this thing is going to be costing approximately $8.3 million.
That's it
for each.
That's nothing comparing how much like a tank or a fighter would be.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling the whole top.
You're right.
The bottom's awesome. The arms are okay, but this whole compartment, they got to make that cooler. It's just not cool enough.
Right.
It doesn't scare me. It's just like that. This looks like the inside of a forklift. It's got the enclosure of a forklift, but that's it. But the rest of it's like metal and like hoses and the compartment for the human. Not so much. You need some dials, some switches, some lights.
They need some those forklifters from Aliens with the yellow forklift.
Yeah, or that whole the thing where the arms move and they actually hold on to them. Yeah, kind of like the whole Matrix thing. That'd be kind of cool. Give me a call, guys. I'll help you. I'll help you spruce this up a little bit.
Or be like
I doubt that phone call's coming.
What
but
was
anyway.
that? What was that Sith on General Grievous on? From Star Wars. It's got the 4 little things spinning around, little lightsabers.
Lightsabers, like I'd fight that thing. First of all, it's got lightsabers and it's 4 of them. Wow, it's crazy.
Right. So it looks like they're expecting pre-orders to be available by the end of 2017.
Oh, sign up, folks.
I was going to say, forget about a Tesla.
Is there a sign up list for that? Can I give me a couple of these?
Yeah, I don't know where you can go to get on the
Amazon
email list for
Alexa.
That's true.
Alexa, I need one of these robots. Sure, no problem. Drone it right to my house. Drop it off. Cool.
Stand by for Titanfall.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's just wild to look at. Oh goodness.
Brand new world.
Yes, brand new world, which could be the end of the world.
There's a reason I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Just preparing.
Just training.
Yep. So you're a doomsday prepper? You don't, okay.
Is that a game? No, it's a simulation.
Right. I'm learning how to make all this stuff out of Band-Aids and paper clips and be like MacGyver. So.
The new old MacGyver and the new MacGyver. Because have you watched that new one?
It's
terrible. God, it's terrible. Anyway.
So back to games. Microsoft is going to be bringing a new game mode to Windows 10 for an enhanced PC gaming experience.
You have all the people to figure out that this was a thing. Of course, the Walking Cat found game mode. It was a file name named gamemode.zip D2 or DLL, can't really tell, but it's definitely going to be a thing, and it's another one of those things that's bridging the gap. Again, here we go, bridging the gap, between PC and Xbox, because Microsoft's, it's all one system now. That's what they keep pushing, and if they can kind of bridge that on the PC, where you have this game mode and that's the thing. What would it have to be that would make it a game mode? Like what UI would make it worth launching this game mode? I kind of wonder, like, especially on a PC.
Right.
I just kind of wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have two screens, it's not a big deal, but if you just have that one screen, why would I launch game mode and do this whole thing if I could just launch the program by itself?
Right. I don't know.
So I don't know. Remains to be seen.
Maybe it gives it that ability to where if you have not a gaming rig, but if you have a mid-range, the system can kind of go, okay, well, I want to try to give you the best experience possible. I know we don't need these resources, so for a person like you already have that setup. So really, this isn't for you.
Right.
It's kind of like a continuum experience. It's not for me. If I were to buy an Elite X3, I wouldn't buy it with a dock because I don't need that, because then I got to bring a computer and a mouse. I have this.
You have
I've got a Surface Book, and this is good enough. So for people like me, maybe that's the same kind of situation for a person like you that has that kind of setup. This is not necessary. For a person who's got a mid-level computer, an older hardware that's running Windows 10 that maybe isn't optimized for Windows 10, this could be something that they can get a moderately good experience and still be able to have that flexibility. And we'll see.
That's a good point. And I would imagine maybe even something with VR could be weaved into here somehow to optimize it that way too.
I'm sure that Microsoft's got some kind of plan for that.
I'm sure.
I mean, they're not going to let that train get out of the station. There's
no
way.
Not
that company. No way.
Nope.
We'll wait and see, though. Wait and see?
Yes. Wait and see. Samsung, again, is rumored to be the exclusive supplier of the OLED panels for the 2017 iPhone, which we're fully expecting to be iPhone 8. And we kind of touched on a little bit earlier in the episode.
Yeah, I mean, right now we have the 4.7 and the 5.5, but there's this rumored 5.8-inch OLED amazing display kind of crazy iPhone that we don't know enough about, but I would imagine it's kind of like their Note line. I would imagine, they're top of the line, like top tier device. So it would make sense that they put an OLED in it, because that's some pretty awesome tech there. But
could you imagine an iPhone with a small little Apple Pencil?
That'd be interesting. I mean, so I've never actually used one of the little Samsung stylus. I don't know.
The S Pen.
Oh, hey, speaking of.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the application for it. Like, why would I want that, I guess?
The only time I ever really use it is, like, if sometimes I have a screenshot, like a little web page I want a specific kind, instead of having to do a screen capture, I can just pull this out, take that, and then just send it off in an SMS.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. I like having that. Plus, I mean, I can actually just write memos on the screen even when it's off. That's kind of cool.
So I have that sort of built in only because of Nova Launcher, where I just hit this bottom and I can draw on it. I can just take a screen cap picture. This just lets you do it with a stylus. And there's some people like us. And what's cool, but it's definitely not something I use often. It's very, very niche. Comes in, but there have been times where I've like, oh man, I just need this one part of it, instead of having to manipulate and zoom it and then steer and then send it. I can just like pull the pen out, select it real quick, smart select, and fire it off, and just eat. That's pretty cool.
To my daughter. So. Yeah, I don't honestly think Apple's going to do that. I think this is just a nice, pretty screen, a little bit bigger footprint, just so that way Apple can kind of start competing in that space with
directly with
with content. They can actually start to get into that space. I don't honestly see that. It would be nice, because there's a lot of people who use iPhones in a business application because of work, because they make it easier because of that.
Well, my handwriting's abysmal, so...
Right, so is mine. So I don't even know why they give me a stylus, because, I mean, honestly, I almost like I have some kind of a little bit of epilepsy when I write. I shake. But it wouldn't make sense, because, I mean, seeing Samsung makes the best panel technology. I would even argue in TVs, but definitely in the mobile space. I mean, they are the go-to. So it's going to be good, but I wonder if this is going to replace the 5.5.
I'd argue LG over here, but I'm a little biased, so it's fine.
But I'm thinking, is this going to replace the 5.5 totally, or is this going to be a third SKU?
No, this will be a third tier.
So they're going to come
top tier.
So we're pushing maybe the $1,200.
Yes. That's what I'm thinking.
This is the only company that could pull that off.
Yep.
Because if this was any other device, there wouldn't be a person.
Look at how many watches they sold.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, yeah, wow. Okay, we'll see. But I mean,
yeah, it's just it. We'll see. We'll see how many people want to spend that extra bit of cash.
But I wonder how they're going to make. Are they going to make the footprint of the phone much bigger? Or are they going to try to make the bezels?
Yes.
They're going to make the bezel they're going to push that bezel. Yeah, because they're going to have to, because there's just no way they can keep pulling that off.
Yeah, that'll be... Well, I mean, if they are able to integrate the home button into the display...
Like that Microsoft patent we talked about.
Yeah, then there you go. I mean, that's one way to get rid of some of the bezel.
Definitely the
bottom Put that in there, yeah.
Yeah, they can do. I can tell you right now, because of the way that is, they definitely have room to maneuver with that display. They've always had. But I mean, this is coming from the group of people who, up until recently, thought that the 4.7 was the phone. There's no SEs being sold because I can't have a little. I use my 5S. I can't. It's almost impossible to use that thing.
Yeah, I mean, once you go to that larger display,
it's almost darn near impossible.
It's
I can't
tough
do it.
to go back.
Even my daughter, she has the 6 Plus now. I guarantee my hands are and I don't even have big fingers, and I'm double punching keys, and it's almost unusable.
It's a little it's kind of hilarious to look back at it now.
Yeah, and it's funny because that was the thing. And they were the Apple people were the last bastion of I would select a smaller phone, sub 5-inch phone. Yeah. And now with the 5S, I see a lot of people eschewing and going. People who bought the 6. Really going, oh man! I know the next time around I'm buying a 7 Plus. That's going to happen.
Yeah, I think
Kevin, you're one of those people that.
Yeah,
I couldn't
go back. Yeah, I could not go back to a standard iPhone. I mean, I want to say that the Plus line this year has been the bigger seller of the two.
I don't know about the numbers, but I would like to look it up and see.
I think it outsold.
I can just anecdotally, just looking at people and who has what device. Even on the Android space, there's a lot of those larger 6 Edge Plus. You're seeing a lot of those phones. So I would, just from what I've seen just around, I see a lot more people than I would think using 7 Plus.
Yeah.
Maybe for the camera experience, maybe because that's what pushes the differentiation.
It's either that or battery.
Yeah, I think that too.
And battery plays a big role in that decision.
Right.
But having that screen real estate and just being able to actually see stuff and, like you say, not fat finger while you're
especially
typing.
And I think a lot more people play a lot more games, and not just the stuff we would play, but the Bejeweled and the simple games like those that
the Facebook games.
Yeah, the Facebook kind of games, those kind of games. Even just for other people who have hard of seeing. My mom has a small. She's using my M8 for Windows. That's her phone. And it's hard for her to see. She has to, but I mean, if you gave her something like a 6 Plus, I mean, just to be able to see it would be a lot better. So,
bigger is better for me. So I'm not going backwards. That is.
It's hustling backwards. As somebody famously, one of my favorite people like to say, hustling backwards.
Yeah. So we should be seeing some more information from Qualcomm about the Snapdragon 835 next week at CES.
Yeah, it's got some pretty killer specs too. Charge-wise, you can get a 0 to 50% charge on your battery in 15 minutes, which is that's pretty awesome. There was a 5-minute charge will give you 5 hours of battery life approximately. I mean, that kind of depends on the size of the battery, I would imagine. But most of this is just bumping up that quick charge, to the nth degree, to where it's it almost doesn't matter what size the battery is at that point because you can charge it so fast and for so little amount of time. I mean, we're going to get to a point to where I'm not sure battery size is going to matter as much. Because right now it's a big deal. If you don't have quick charge, battery size is a big deal. And this would kind of eliminate that, which would also keep the devices thin. If you're into that, I kind of am over that whole thinner every year, but I don't know.
And power efficiency. That's one of the big things with the Adreno 540 GPU, which is supposed to be 30% more powerful and 40% more efficient than its predecessor, the Adreno 530.
Smaller die size equals smaller footprint and smaller voltage and yada yada. It goes on down the line.
And 2.2 gigahertz on the octa-core processor.
So I'm wondering, with all this, I agree with the battery not being an issue anymore. But I'm thinking more is, have manufacturers kind of given up on kind of developing the next gen battery tech because they realize that maybe is not doable at this time? Maybe that's a 10-year project.
That's what I'm thinking.
And we got to do something in the next 4 to 6. So how about this? Let's go ahead and keep doing the battery technology, keeping the battery, you still have to have a decent capacity because not everybody's going to have access to a charger.
That's true.
But the fact that you can dump a bunch of... And I still want to see this actually happen.
Yeah.
It's just like any other phone. Oh, it's got 2-day runtime. No, it doesn't. No phone's got 2-day runtime.
If I use it for 2 hours.
Right, exactly. So again, it's based on usage. So you still need to have that kind of 2,500 to 3,000 milliamp capacity. But the fact that you can do this, but I think they're realizing, like, look, if we can give people the ability to charge their phone within 30 minutes to the point where they can get through the rest of the day, limp through or whatever, or if they're at the Starbucks and they can plug it into a quick charger while they're waiting for their latte, or if they're at, they go inside the grocery, and leave it in their car and they can charge it. This will kind of need the push for, hey, we need to really push this battery tech. What's the next gen battery component that will give you that 3-day, 4-day, 5-day runtime? And maybe that's not even close to being there yet, because that's something you never really talk about. They know it's there, but nobody's really on. We've got walking robots, we've got all this other kind of stuff, but nobody's really figured out past the lithium ion what's the next component to make the battery run better. So maybe this is the bridge. This is that bridge. We're like, okay, maybe if we can make the charges quick, it eliminates the whole needing a capacity issue, or at least it minimizes that capacity for later.
From what I understand from Tesla, battery tech is very hard, and we've only been increasing our battery tech by maybe, like, at best 12% every year.
All right, and they're talking about large-scale batteries. We're talking about the ones on a phone.
Exactly.
So if you think that's hard for larger-scale platform batteries, like if they can houses or if they don't really have a good idea, you would think that team of folks over at Tesla, when it comes to battery technology and longevity, they would be on the forefront of pushing that. The fact that they're like... we don't really got nothing. We got big, make the battery bigger. That's what we have now. With a home application or a vehicle application, that's possible. Although with vehicles, you have weight distribution, weight ratios, and those kind of things. Or like larger rigs, you can only have 80,000 pounds until that's expanded to larger gross ratios as far as. But on a phone, you're stuck. There's only so much you can do, and there's only so, as we can see with the Note 7. You got to have some level of tolerance there, because if you don't have, you know what I mean? So you're a whole lot more of it in a tighter ship. You can't go very far with the battery. So it's good to see at least they're pushing this, because you got to fix something.
And that's the other thing too. You don't want to push it too far, because then you do have another Note 7 situation.
And people are going to be wary of that when they see, especially this new charging technology. Thinking, if we're punching that much juice in this battery, I know they have algorithms and all that. Sounds great for us, but for the regular folks, I'm like, if they're a little kind of like, man, if I plug this thing in, it's supposed to be this super fast charging thing.
A little gun shy.
It's like getting plunked in the batter's box. You step in for that next fastball, even though it's down a plate, you're ducking because you remember. And I think there was enough regular mainstream kind of heat about, no pun intended, about the Note 7 being a failure, and people didn't even know what it was. But they knew that was a phone that could blow up. Yeah. And even people on planes, I was on a plane with this phone. The lady actually came up to me on one of the flights from Boston and said, you got to turn that off. And I said, this is a Note 5. And I had to take the case off and show her it was a Note 5. She thought I had a Note 7. And it was and that was just right after that one in Southwest kind of went through the floor and burned. So even Joe Q Public knew about that. So that's something they got to be real careful with. They push us, hey, charges in 5 minutes. Yeah, but how's that going to happen? What I mean?
How warm are things going to get when I do that?
Am I going to be enough? And are we talking like brisket warm? Are we talking just more like a hand warmer warm? Or what are we talking about? So I think this is a way that they realize they can't get the battery technology that isn't really there yet. But this kind of gives you kind of the crutch to kind of get to that point until because, hey, Tesla says, hey, we've found this new battery. It's silver cadmium mix something or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Super. And then you get those kind of things. Especially they're going to have to do something because there's no way that wearable thing that I discussed earlier is possible with this technology with battery. You've got to come up with something either biometric or something else to kind of help do that. But this is, I like to see is to believe it. But if you can get those times and that amount of power with that kind of, that's a game changer.
I mean, Quick Charge 3 on my LG is awesome.
Oh yeah, it's fast on my Samsung too. I mean, it charges quickly.
Quick Charge 4, woo, okay.
So my question is, when is Apple going to get into that quick charge game, and are they going to try to model on their A chips what Qualcomm's doing? Or are they just going to always be like, hey, look, our battery's okay? And my question is, for an Apple person, are they really pushing for that? Are people in the Apple camp going, look, we need a quick charge? Because there's no wireless charge, no quick charge, none of that's available in Apple, and that doesn't seem to be a problem with Apple users.
No,
and I'm curious why. Most people that aren't really power users from Apple, they really are on their own devices as much? Or,
I don't know. I mean, I was having a discussion the other day and with a friend of mine, and he was saying, "Oh, geez, I've got to have this this battery brick and stuff like that to be able to keep charging my iPhone, because he's just got the 7. He didn't go with a Plus. I'm like, well, that's why I got to go with the Plus, because right now, I mean, I've been playing games for 2.5 hours. I've been doing all sorts of other stuff, and I've still got 19% of my battery left. And he's like, yeah, I've already charged my phone twice today. I'm like,
holy cow!
Wow. Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Sucks to be you, dude.
Yeah, it's like I don't see how you can kind of go through your day like that, wanting to always have to keep plugging it in, keep recharging it. That's just me, where you all have different use cases. But yeah, I just I don't know. We'll see. I think it will kind of leave some people a little sketchy. And kind of talking about that Note 7, I believe T-Mobile has started sending out basically the kill code.
Yeah, I think it started
to the Note 7
it started today.
To where it just
won't
not
charge anymore.
Yeah, it's not going to accept the charge.
It's awesome.
Plug it in all you want.
It makes me wonder, they can do that? Really? Is this a software update where basically it tells the hardware, we're not charging?
That's kind of scary, though.
I think so.
That's a little scary.
I don't know. Maybe I sound like the tinfoil hat paranoid guy. That really kind of makes me kind of go, wait a minute. You mean AT&T could push on an update to your phone?
I mean, you could just throw out a kill switch.
To basically just disable a device.
Yeah.
Any device.
Any device they feel like. I mean, if they can do that to any fork of Android, that's essentially what we're doing here. We're basically shutting down. That's kind of scary. I don't know. I don't like that. I know they have to do something because people they were not going to turn them all in. That was it. They're going to find a way to get
in
past
this situation. It's easier to kind of turn the blind eye. But you're right. Like, it kind of makes you want to should they really have all that power?
Or is
that or is that the company giving them the power to do that? Like, what's
I mean, it's everything. The bits are coming from Samsung.
Yeah, that's the Samsung.
And it's just T-Mobile's just the first group that says, okay, yeah, we're gonna kill it.
And I guess there's no that where they look through and make sure it's, since it's actually just really some line of code to basically just
sending out an update.
Right. So it's no different than any kind of like a security update from Android. That doesn't really need to go through that whole process
just
of vetting.
A couple little kilobits and here you go.
Yeah, I just
you've
like
got a new update.
Yeah, I just find it funny to be when are they going to, and the fact that you can't block that update either. I wonder.
Yeah, that's gonna be a force one.
Yeah.
That's a mandatory.
Yeah, you're gonna power the down. You have to charge it up. It's gonna go. It's gonna force it to you.
Right.
So I just, like I said, I don't really like that. I don't like a carrier and companies having that much push where they can just basically send out some lines of code and shut a phone.
I think it's hilarious.
Just turn your phones in, people. You got a free phone. You get another phone. Is it that big of a deal?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, they're like, it'd be different. They said, "Oh, you're tough. You're out of luck. So you're stuck." Yeah. Then I'd be like mad. But they're like, "Turn in and get any phone you want." Why are you sitting on that phone anymore? Are you stupid? I just don't get it. It doesn't make no sense to me.
Yeah.
You want to be that guy? So 20 years later, selling me, I got a Note 7. Hasn't turned on in 20 years, but I got it. Yeah. You have a paperweight.
That's what it looks
Go
like.
away.
Yeah. All right. So, app entertainment hardware picks. Brad, you've got some stuff you'd like to discuss.
Just want to mention Justin Scard again. I'm actually wearing one of his shirts right now.
I thought it was really I didn't really look at it, actually. I thought it was just a Disney shirt. I didn't even read it.
And that's the point.
Yeah, it got
he
me
was he kind of blew up because of Disney, and he would do walkarounds with Disney parks in different parts, this country and other countries. And you kind of go to like watch him explain and tell a lot of history behind Disney, but then you kind of stay for the character that is Justin Scard. He is goofy as all heck, but every once in a while he kind of puts out a video and you kind of listen, and it kind of speaks to you. And this one specifically, it's titled Insanity, It's Okay to Move On. And basically in the video he just kind of talks about how so many of us will talk about our day jobs and how bad they suck, and man, I wish I could do something about it. It's like, well, dude, just do it.
Just quit.
Like, just stop talking about it and do it. And for some reason, this one specifically just kind of rang true with me, so I just felt the need to share it. And maybe you guys should, even just if you check the first, 15, 20 minutes, because it's like a 50-minute video. He rambles a little towards the end, but the beginning, you kind of get the idea of what he's saying. And like, he used to be in a punk band, which is kind of hilarious now. Just to think of him being in a punk band, but now he just does YouTube videos and he gets paid very well, and he just moved his family into a new house, and things are going very well for him, all because he decided to quit at one of his dreams. He decided to quit because he realized that it's not going anywhere. It's what's the saying? Fail fast, fail often, or fail often, fail fast, or something like that.
Sure.
in the tech world.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I just feel a lot more people should realize that failing isn't bad. Like, it's okay to fail. It's just you need to move on after that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not doing something that you're happy doing, the money's not everything.
No,
In reality, if you're dreading getting up on Monday and stuff like that, I mean, honestly, I don't mind coming back from a somewhat long weekend and coming back and getting back to work. Yeah. It doesn't bother me. It never really has. And maybe that's just me and who I am as a human being. I'm not the super compassionate person that, I've got to spend all my waking hours with my family and this and that. Or some people are like, that's all I do is live for my family. I'm like, yeah, sometimes you got to take some time for yourself, though.
Yeah.
It's okay to be selfish in some points.
Yeah.
You can take some time. It's okay.
I mean, you got to find that nice, delicate balance.
Balance, right? Everything in life. You can't just eat marshmallow fluff all day.
No.
You could. It's not even good for you.
Yeah.
So, just take a look at Justin Scard, maybe, if you haven't already. I'd really enjoy his videos. So, But, yeah, that one specifically. So, it'll be in the show notes.
All right. And Microsoft is also starting off their second week of Xbox Countdown deals, which that has been the one thing I will definitely give Microsoft credit for. Is, man, they've been having some kick-ass sales.
Like, almost better than Steam kind of sales.
Yeah.
So, that's a little impressive. Notably, they have, like, even Dead Rising 4, it's $40. It just came out like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So that's pretty awesome. Doom is on here, bunch of Call of Duties, Borderlands. I mean, the list just goes on and on. I'm not going to sit here and read them all because there's a lot of them. But a link, again, will be in the show notes. It's just worth mentioning again in case you have some of those Xbox Live gift cards saved up from Christmas like I do. So.
And for you Android users, Super Mario Run is available to pre-register. So similar to what Apple did on the App Store, where you could sign up to get notified when it's going to be released. Hopefully, Google does a better job of notifying you that it has been released when it was released and not wait 7 or 8 hours to let you know, hey, by the way, the game is available. It's launched today.
Also, this is kind of telling that it's kind of imminent and it's going to be very soon.
I would imagine, it'll be out by Valentine's Day, I'll say, or by the end of February.
Yep, I would think so as well.
So, yeah. Sam, you got any app entertainment things that you like to share, think people should kind of know about?
Well,
TV shows, movies, anything?
Well, I said that I mentioned earlier that Man in the High Castle. I think it's Amazon Prime video.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. It's really, really cool. Takes a little bit of getting into. You got to kind of watch it and kind of let it soak. Real, dystopian, the Japanese and the Nazis win World War II. And now they occupy the United States in zones. It's just really weird. It's just, and when you watch it, seeing things like pictures of Hitler, and then like their uniforms have like, it's the regular swastika, but on the other side it's black stripes. So it's like it's really, for a person like me who's kind of knows a lot about that history and kind of is military, kind of, it's just really almost disconcerting to watch because it's a fiction, but you're thinking, man, that could have really been a thing. This is a real possibility. This isn't some kind of really out there. I mean, you could kind of, since it's kind of within the last couple of years and so, 60, 70 years. Plus, there's so much. I mean, if you watch history, that's all they talk about is World War II and Hitler and then the Nazi Reich. And the fact that that's so not far removed, that most Americans kind of wrap your head around that's a legitimate possibility. So that when that's in the back of your head and then you're watching the character development and kind of what's going on, it's kind of interesting to see. So if anybody has a chance to check out that, if they have an Amazon Prime account, it's free. So as long as you got Prime, you can watch it. And I would 2 seasons, I'd recommend it highly. It's a really, really good show. And then there's a book too. Obviously, if you're the person that likes to read the book and then attack the show, then
have at it.
Have at it. So
I believe it's on Audible.
So. Oh yeah, you can get it on Audible. Although the reviews on Audible are kind of hard because they have to do different characters, and of course they might have tend to be a little stereotypical. So that's the reviews I read. The book is okay, but then whoever's reading it is not doing. That's the problem with audiobooks.
Fair enough.
It's really almost to the point of
it's up to whoever is.
If somebody's reading it that's not really good at it, like watch Game of Thrones. That's a great book, obviously. But if you go to the Audible version, people really are critical of it because of the reading. And here's the thing: it's like 30 or 40 characters. I mean, if it's one guy reading it, how much range can a dude have?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
You have to kind of take it with a grain of salt. So, but that would be a good TV pick. I think if you and I also downloaded the entire thing of Firefly on my I got Xbox credit for $25. Didn't see these games I really liked. I was like, yeah. Then I said, "Oh, look, Firefly! Full season, grab it all, $21.99, cool." Then I had a little bit of money that left over to buy a couple other things. So I'm still a Firefly fan. So
yeah, same here.
Not too bad. So yeah, pick that up. But yeah, definitely that's a good pick. As far as app picks, I really don't have anything. I mean, there's a Windows Phone app, a podcast app called OneCast that seems to be pretty good. But obviously that's a Windows Phone. So I'm speaking of the 4 or 5 humans that are actually listening that actually either are actually daily driving a Windows Phone. Good, God love you, or have one in a drawer that just want to fire up and take a look at. That might be a good app pick. We'll see.
Yeah, and just one other thing, too, to remind people about the Super Mario Run, how it'll likely be like it is on iOS, where you get the first 3 little levels for free, and then it's $10 afterwards.
Oh, $10?
Get that Google Opinion Rewards app and fill out some surveys, and you'll eventually accumulate the $10 to get it for free.
And then
you don't go enough places.
I guess.
Apparently not.
I guess I have to beat places.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those things where the last 2 they sent me, I answer the questions. I get no money. It's like some of these will actually just be for information, no money.
Yeah, sometimes.
Couldn't even kick me a nickel. I mean, come on.
I know.
Right. Seriously,
like 5 cents.
45 cents is kind of nice, but I mean, like they couldn't even give me a nickel.
Yeah, but I mean, it adds up quickly. I mean, I'm over 10. I think I'm back up to almost $12, so I don't have to worry about it.
I'm sitting at 7.5.
Yeah, so hopefully by the time it does launch, you'll have answered enough, and because after the holiday, and now hopefully because there was a time, I think it was last January, they were just sending them out like crazy. It seemed like every day I was having to answer 2 or 3.
I haven't had one in a couple of days. It's like almost like 3 or 4 where I haven't had any. So we'll see. But yeah, I already burned some of the money. But I tried.
Yeah. So anyway, get that. It's really good. All right. So time for our beer picks of the week segment. Before we wrap this up, Brad, we're going to let you go first with your choice.
So I actually had this last week, and it was after the show, and it's Voodoo Ranger IPA from New Belgium Brewing Co., which those of you who know does Fat Tire. So I happened to notice this in a cooler at like a gas station, which, what? Yeah. An IPA at a gas station, that's a little funny. But not only just an IPA, but a good IPA. Like a very good mixture of like that juicy, the Mosaic, and the Amarillo hops all kind of all delicious and mixed together perfectly. It is a good, solid IPA. It's not like incredible above everything else, but it's by no means terrible. It is a very good, solid IPA.
Solid choice.
Yeah, it's a solid choice. It's 7% ABV, so it'll kind of get you a little fuzzy, and it's 50 IBU, so it's not super harsh or bitter. So
cool.
Nice. So I had this last Friday, and my choice is the Breakfast Stout from Founders Brewing Company. Very good.
Makes me want to try just because it says breakfast.
Yeah, it's very, very good. So on Untapped, the description for this is called the Coffee Lover's Consummate Beer, brewed with an abundance of flaked oats, bitter and imported chocolates, and Sumatra and Kona coffee. This stout has an intense, fresh roasted Java nose topped with a frothy, cinnamon-colored head that goes forever. It's an American Imperial Double Stout, 8.3 ABV, 60 IBUs, and its cumulative rating is 4.19 out of 218,219 ratings.
8.3, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's going to have some sting on it.
Yes,
that's
it does.
A 96-mile-an-hour fastball. That gets you in the back. It's going to get some hurt on you.
It is delicious.
Really, it sounds good. I mean, I'm not a stout guy by any means, but I might. Where did you pick this up at?
I got this at a restaurant in St. Louis called the Shaved Duck.
Oh, the Shaved Duck, yeah. My buddy used to work there. He probably, okay.
You can find it at Friar Tuck's, and some Schnooks even carry it.
Okay. Yeah, I also go to Randall's, so maybe I'm sure they have it there.
Oh, absolutely.
Cool. And I checked that out because it just, first of all, it said breakfast, which is, I'm in automatically. If it had like fried eggs in it and stuff, I'd probably eat that too. But just, yeah, I also a coffee. I'm coffee, kind of a coffee aficionado. So does it have a different coffee?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to try it out.
It's very good.
Yeah. All right, folks, that does it for this week.
A little bit of a longer one, I feel.
Yeah, it's okay.
But it'll give people something to listen to.
It's the year end. We got to have something to give them before 2017 starts. Hopefully, we'll all make it home and not drop dead.
Like everyone else in 2016.
I don't know. I mean, I've been watching the way it's been going the last couple of weeks. I'm thinking my card might get pulled here pretty soon. I might drop dead or something. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's been. I know it does. I know it feels like this. I know every year has a long list of people that passed away that are prominent. I don't know. Just
maybe it's because
2016 for most people has just been
terrible.
It's an awful year for everybody. I mean,
it's been a troll of a year.
Mine's been okay as far as personal and professional. It's been pretty decent.
Yeah,
but for other people, this is like a nightmare. They just want to like wipe this one off the count, just skip it all together.
Well, I mean, politics don't help that.
Yeah, I think it's a main driver of it.
But that also with a bunch of, like you said, prominent like people that were just almost out of the blue, even
just kind of. I mean, there were influential people. It's not just a bunch of random people. I mean, Carrie Fisher's and Prince and David Bowie's and. Yeah.
It seems like more prominent musicians, George Michael, those, like I said, usually, other years you have, musicians, maybe people you've never heard of, more composers or songwriters that maybe it's not mainstream. But yeah, the last half of this year has been really just like wham, wham, wham. I mean, who would have thought that Prince and George Michael would have, if you would have told me that in 2015, I would have never, never. And they don't seem to be, they're in their 50s.
Yeah.
No way. There's no way. Yeah. You kind of knew Michael Jackson was kind of in a bad place, so that kind of didn't surprise you because you kind of knew from the troubled past. But I mean, I never heard George Michael seemed like he had a pretty good deal, and so did anybody else. I don't know. It's just been a really kind of an off year for those kinds of things. It's been
it has.
So this will give them a nice cushion, glide us right into 2017, and hopefully all is better.
Yep.
Hopefully.
So everybody have a nice, safe New Year's, and join us when we talk to you next year.
Yeah, and when we talk to you next year, I will have hit 1,000 unique brews on Untapped.
Man.
Aren't you close now? You're like
I'm
9.
2 away.
2 away.
Oh, he couldn't pull it off in 20. I think he's sandbagging until 2017. That's what he's trying to do. You got 2 more, so you better.
Nope, it'll be finished before 2017. So.
Good man.
It's just
that's dedication for
special choices that he's going for.
Yep,
good.
They're in the fridge at home.
Oh, he's going to one today and one tomorrow just to finish it out. Oh God! If you're nothing, it's not predictable.
How'd you know?
It seemed like that was the thing that I would do. That was what I would do.
Just tee it up there.
Serve it up. Yeah.
All right,
good
folks.
Deal.
So again, this is Kevin Harvell. That's Brad Whiteside, Sam Ventimiglia. Wishing you all a very safe and happy New Year. So until we talk again next year, consider yourself informed. We're out.
See ya.
See ya.